Saint Anthony the Great, whose feast is today, annually on January 17, he said, "A time is coming when people will go mad, and they will call the rational people crazy. This time has come, we are living it." On the occasion of the feast of the great teacher of the desert, he was a monk. The great Anthony the Great, is his most characteristic prophecy comes to mind, which these days seems to be fulfilled more than ever. He said, "A time is coming when people will lose their reason, and if they see someone rational, they will rise up against him, saying, 'You are the irrational one,' for he will not be like them." The fundamental element of the person's cultivation is neither education nor knowledge, nor experience nor intelligence. You can have all of these, but be completely foolish and uncultured. The fundamental element of our cultivation is reason. This is the basic tool that God gave us to discern his wondrous works and to lead us to the highest sphere of human fulfillment, that of faith in God. Today we live precisely the world that St. Anthony prophesied with horror. We live the universal death of reason, because sin creates its own logic, its own reasoning, its own arguments. People are drinking furiously the crazy water that some philosophers wrote about. They will drink it and lose their minds, and they will no longer feel anything, neither what is right and what is false, nor what is good and what is bad, nor what is tasty and what is unpalatable, nor what is right and what is wrong. People have become drunk with the crazy water, and their logic is faltering. How many virtues of the gospel are not treated as insanity by many people today? Talk to them about repentance, and they will tell you that you have a guilt syndrome and that they themselves have never harmed anyone. Talk to them about the brave thing called confession, and they will look at you like a prisoner. Talk to them about prayer, and they will tell you that they are not addressing imaginary friends. Talk to them about temperance, and they will not restrain themselves from laughter. Talk to them about fasting, and they will wander around in the health of fools. Talk to them about vigil, and they will tell you, sleep on this side. Talk to them about almsgiving, and they will call you a hypocrite and a thief. Talk to them about the blessing of the family, and they will tell you that children are a nuisance. Talk to them about miracles, and it will be a miracle if they do not mock you to your face. The great Russian writer Fyodor Dostoevsky wrote the famous saying, "If the whole world goes one way and Christ goes the other, I will go after Christ." Well, isn't that what we're experiencing in our time? The whole world is marching in the direction of the madness that has been called the avenue of reason. Christ marches in the opposite direction, and those who follow him are treated as if they have gone astray. This story is old. It has been around since the dawn of Christianity. Remember that Christ himself was called crazy, and even by his followers. As the evangelist Mark writes in Mark 3:21, they said he has gone mad, because Christ was so absorbed in the work of teaching that he often neglected to eat. Against their madness, anyone who enters the arena of Christian Orthodox life must take it for granted that they will be treated as crazy and ridiculed. These are the velvet testimonies that the world has in store for us without realizing it. Look, for example, at those few singers, actors, and other popular Christians who confess their faith publicly. Then the TV rational committees come on the channels and judge them as retarded, as if they had some psychological problem. They see mental health as an illness. This inverse interpretation of things has affected them in everything, to the core of their existence. Democracy they call the imposition of the minority. Progress they call their obscurantism. Freedom they call enslavement to passions and every kind of harmful habit. The worship of themselves they call the love for their fellow man. They call homogenization diversity. The rejection of human nature they call inclusion. The loving speech of the saints become a rhetoric of hate. They called the imposed fear in the pandemic security, and they call environmental destruction sustainable development. Social networks make people unsociable, and they call the violation of privacy development. The illegal becomes legal, and legal becomes a stowaway for the state. There are so many reversals of concepts that it's almost a surefire solution to consider the opposition of what is being sold to you. Turning our backs on the lies that lie and turning to the eternal sunrise of truth. The truths that flow from the gospel are the only ones that break the code of the matrix that we experience. That is the program network of lies that has penetrated all sleeping minds. In the end times we live in, this is the mission of the Christian, to be both a praiser of the sublime and the ultimate guardian of the rational. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.